Right, welcome back. So, of course, Danny Jordaan has revealed that his third term will be his last as South African Football Association president. Jordaan retained his seat with a massive 186 votes, and Maria Letwaba, who was his closest rival, claimed only 27, while Solly Mahlabeng settled for 8 votes. My colleague and eNCA sports reporter Tsepo Tobane has been following this election the entire day. He joins us now for a quick update. Titi, welcome back. So, of course, Danny has said this term is going to be his last term, but I understand we also got reaction from Maria Letwaba earlier today.
Evening, Nicole. In fact, Danny Jordaan just finished speaking to us a few minutes ago. But before he addressed us as the media, as the president of SAFA, earlier we had an opportunity to speak to Maria Letwaba immediately after the Congress ended. And she told us that despite the fact that she lost in terms of the presidential race, but she has not given up, and also the fact that she does not believe that under the leadership of Danny Jordaan, SAFA will go the right way. In fact, she said football is at a loss. Let's take a listen to what she said earlier.
No, I'm not disappointed at all. I knew the odds were against me when I came here, but I think I fought a good fight. I still believe that South African Football Association needs to change. That's my belief. And I believe that I have not lost today. In fact, football have lost the 7th.
So, Titi, of course, Maria, she's not going to be running again. That's what she said. And, of course, she does want new blood. With Danny also saying that this is going to be his last term, is this not the time that Danny Jordaan should be focusing on grooming the youngsters, focusing on their succession plan? And we don't even know if SAFA has a proper succession plan in place. But is this then not the time for him to add that to part of his responsibilities?
In fact, Nicole, speaking to us earlier on, Danny Jordaan was, in fact, I asked that question in terms of a succession plan. He said he's going to use the next 4 years to try and implement a succession plan for when he finally steps down in 2026. He did not go much into detail in terms of how he's going to go that route in terms of is he going to throw in new blood, but it's definitely one of the key things that he's prepared to do. In fact, he told us that the members who voted for him, that is the NEC members, also put that question to him, that he must have a succession plan so that when he leaves, at least according to him, there is proper success in terms of the leadership of the association, Nicole.
So other than him saying he's also going to be focusing on succession planning, what are some of the other points that came out of the address that he had with the media in terms of what he's going to be doing differently now that he has a third term? What are his other plans?
Some of the things he spoke about was school sport, which he said was critical in terms of improving the standard of South African football. He said although that there are tournaments focusing on school sports in terms of football, but there has to be more. He wants to implement more football school tournaments so that at least they get to improve the standard of the football in the country. And also he touched on the fact that he wants to see an improved Bafana Bafana side. According to him, an improved Bafana Bafana side is a side that will not only show up at tournaments, is a team that is going to be competing and probably winning the tournaments that they're going to be taking part in. And he also mentioned that he wants a proper strategic plan from the national team coach in terms of moving forward. You know that Bafana Bafana currently faced with the AFCON qualifiers for next year, and also they will be beginning the qualifiers for the 2026 World Cup. He also wants to see the national team, that is Bafana, there, and also he wants to see an improvement in Banyana, including some of the junior teams. He said that he wants to see a level of competence. All the national teams must also show that they want to compete and win tournaments.
So there's a lot that he said then in terms of the feedback that you've just provided us with. Listening to that presser earlier, one of the things that he said is that there are 11,250 female referees as well as assistant referees. him making a point like that in the middle of you know, all this drama that there's been in terms of his election, is it not him masking the responsibility that the NEC has to ensure the appointment of women in positions of power? So not only referees, but for example, to now have a female SAFA president. Is he not just giving those stats to mask things that people are really concerned about?
Yes, Nicole. He said that they are also focusing on women football in general. Like you said, he spoke about female referees, also mentioned the part of improving the standard of female players, also grooming up-and-coming female footballers. Yes, it's easy for him to be saying all those things on paper. It's easy, but I think also it's going to be interesting to see how he's going to be implementing all those strategies. It's one thing to talk about them here after winning the election, but how you implement those strategies is very critical, particularly when the focus is now on female football. The focus is on female football because now when you compare all the other, or Bafana to be exact, they are not doing well. It's only the Banyana team that is doing well, and also Basitsana who are also doing well. So I think the more focus should be on them to ensure that they get all the necessary support. Yes, Banyana are going to be playing at the next AFCON tournament next month. There was money being thrown about, but is that enough? Is that enough for the female footballers? Because now it comes to a situation where they have to get proper salaries, so to speak, in terms of the salaries that will be as compared to their male counterparts. So it's very important and critical to see the next 4 years how he's going to be going about implementing those strategies that he promised us today.
So, Titi, you're 100% correct. It's one thing saying all of these things, but implementing it is a different story altogether. And I love that you mentioned the money that was flying around when it came to Banyana and them winning. What is more important is actually the salaries that they need to get every single month. The one thing that I want to ask you very quickly, please, Titi, before you go, we have run out of time. And I know you've been following this prior to the elections. You've been following this entire SAFA ordeal. In 2016, we saw Hillary Clinton take on Donald Trump to become president in the United States, and of course she lost that. And when they looked at the stats, the majority of the female votes actually went to Donald Trump. And a similar thing has happened now with SAFA, where we've seen the majority of women supporting Danny Jordaan. So what does that say in terms of women who are supposed to firstly be supporting each other, and number two, with all of this following that you've been doing even prior to the elections that took place today, has there been any word about this? Have you heard any people saying they're giving up on Mamria Litwaba and women in general?
Well, just to answer your last question, yes, we spoke to the protesters outside of the Sandton Convention Saturday, said it is not all over. They are still going to fight for her. In terms of how they are going to do that, it remains to be seen. With regards to the female support issue, it is sort of quite disappointing that you have a female presidential candidate who wanted their support, but unfortunately she did not go, or the support did not go her way, which is quite disappointing. It shows that our females must learn to support each other, because now Maria Litwaba, once we spoke to her, she said she was quite disappointed with not receiving. In fact, according to her, she said that the members changed their minds today. So it's according to her, so it remains to be seen, but it's quite disappointed not to see female people supporting each other, Nicole.
Titi, thank you so much for that. Thank you for following this, and thank you for giving all of our viewers the update. And as Danny Jordaan said, this is his last term, and we are going to do our best to keep him on his toes in the next 3 to 4 years and monitor everything it is that he said he is going to do. We'll have more